Welcome to the This Week in Astrology video forecast for the second half of July 2015. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Benjamin Bernstein of astroshaman.com, coming to you from Asheville, North Carolina. I'm an astrologer, shamanic healer, and awakening activator, and it's my pleasure to bring you these twice-a-month astrology forecasts. So what's new during this forecast period? Venus turning retrograde is our top skylight for the second half of July. So reflect on your relationships. I'll have more to say about that soon. Also featured is an intense and potentially volatile Mars-Uranus-Pluto T-square. And we also have an Aquarius full moon, Uranus turning retrograde, and more. What's old as we come into this period is we've got a waxing moon and a bunch of retrograde planets. Saturn through August 2nd, Pallas Athena through August 3rd, Ceres through September 14th, Pluto through September 25th, Neptune through November 18th, and Chiron through November 28th. And we have three aspect patterns still in play. We've got a grand trine, a T-square, a Thor's hammer, and I'll be telling you more about those because all of those are in the forecast for this period. So, with our overview done, let's now look at our individual days of the week. On Thursday, July 16th, we open with a T-square with Mercury, Uranus, and Pluto. July's third and final Uranus-Pluto T-square is instigated by Cancerian Mercury. This stimulation of revolutionary transformation is the briefest of the three T-squares, beginning today, July 16, peaking on July 17, and ending on July 19. So it comes and goes pretty quick. This T-square's effects could go virtually unnoticed since it's buried in the midst of the more powerful Mars-Uranus-Pluto T-square. But Mercury's T-square is still a great opportunity to challenge your old ways of thinking and receive fresh insights and inspirations. You may also feel called to share a transformative or unconventional truth. If so, use the current Martian energy, Mars and Mercury are conjunct in Cancer, to inspire your courageous action. It may not serve your cause to embody the low side of Mars by delivering your message with anger or excessive aggression. Also here on July 16th, Thursday, learning, thinking, and communicating are energized under a Mercury-Mars conjunction, both planets around 14 Cancer. This aspect can lend fire and energy to your speech, but be careful to avoid verbal attacks, especially with family members. On Friday, July 17th, a grand trine formed by the Cancerian Sun, Scorpionic Saturn, and Piscean Chiron began on July 13th. It peaks today here on July 17th, and it ends on July 22nd. I interpreted this aspect pattern on my last forecast, and we'll repeat the key points here. Many supportive outcomes can be harvested from this grand trine. Healing and mentoring within the family structure can proceed more smoothly, and the family structure itself can enjoy more stability. In fact, nurturing and security are more available in general. Grand trines connect easily, but you can take them for granted. Mine your trines with solid planning, intention, and implementation to reap the most bountiful harvest. Also, on Friday, July 17th, another T-square with Mercury, Uranus, and Pluto. The one I talked about for yesterday's forecast is peaking today. And again, we've already discussed that. So that wraps us up for Friday, July 17th. On Saturday, July 18th, Venus enters Virgo today, but not for long. She turns retrograde on July 25th, then backpedals into Leo on July 31st. She'll do a complete transit of Virgo later in the year, October 8th through November 8th. To crib from my July 25th Venus retrograde forecast, Venus's brief sojourn in Virgo is a good time to ask, is there a strong and appropriate service element in your relationships? Is excessive perfectionism stifling your creativity? And are you paying enough attention to your finances? Also here on Saturday, July 18th, a Mercury-Uranus square. Mercury, 20 Cancer, and Uranus, 20 Aries, is part of the Mercury-Uranus-Pluto T-square I've been talking about already, and it's best to understand that as part of that larger pattern rather than interpreting it individually. On Sunday, July 19th, putting some attention on mentoring and healing is smoothly supported with Mercury trine Cancer. Mercury, 21 Cancer, Chiron, 21 Pisces. These activities are particularly supported within the family unit. On Monday, July 20th, we have a T-square with Mars, Uranus, and Pluto, one of our headline events for this forecast period. This Mars-Uranus-Pluto T-square is the longest and strongest of July's 3 Uranus-Pluto T-squares. It started on July 14th, peaks today on July 20th, and ends on July 27th. As I told you on the last forecast, revolutionary transformation is once again the core theme, but the warrior energy of Mars fires up this aspect pattern with a higher level of opportunity and volatility. Impulsiveness, anger, and violence can erupt if these energies are not managed well, but handled consciously, this T-square can inspire you to take immediate action on your intuitive flashes and embrace transformation enthusiastically. Cancerian Mars just do it energy can help you get the ball rolling with the changes that will best support your family, home, and security. Tuesday, July 21st, steady Eddy productivity is supported under a Sun-Saturn trine. Sun 28 Cancer, Saturn 28 Scorpio. With the Sun in Cancer, this aspect can also support a comfortable work-home balance. On Wednesday, July 22nd, we have a Thor's hammer with Vesta, Jupiter, and Pluto, and we have a Thor's hammer key with Vesta, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. You know, Thor may only have one hammer in the Marvel universe, but our universe currently has two. A second Thor's hammer aspect pattern with Vesta, Jupiter, and Pluto fires up today, July 22nd, to join the first one, Vesta, Jupiter, and Saturn, that started on July 14th. The new Thor's hammer with Pluto peaks on August 2nd, and both Thor's hammers ends on 8/17. Now, since these Thor's hammers share 2 out of 3 planets, Vesta and Jupiter, it really does not make sense to interpret them separately. Therefore, we'll consider this a 4-planet aspect pattern called a Thor's hammer key. And I don't believe I've ever talked about a Thor's hammer's key, or rather a Thor's hammer key here on the show before. In this combined pattern, the basic meaning of the original Vesta, Jupiter, Saturn, Thor's hammer remains unchanged: higher service and sacred sexuality. Because Pluto and Vesta share the theme of sacred sexuality, the tantric potential of this aspect pattern is greatly strengthened. The basic idea of tantric or sacred sex is that you're making love with more than just your physical bodies. When both partners can maintain divine consciousness during love play, bliss is vastly magnified. When all you know is sex experienced with the 5 physical senses, it can certainly seem wonderful, but it looks like a grainy black and white movie when compared to the dazzling 3D ecstasy of multidimensional sacred sexual connection. From a different perspective, Pluto's presence in this Thor's hammer key suggests that surrender can play a key role in your higher service. Higher service can be more than just a few hours of volunteer work here and there. A genuine higher calling can rise to the level of sacred service and can even become your main reason for living. I know it certainly is for me. In this context, surrender means letting go of the things in your life that are neither necessary nor in alignment with your sacred service. Of course, the ego may want to cling to its comfort zone and its customary pleasures, but making more time for that which truly feeds your soul will ultimately provide vastly greater satisfaction. It'll also open the door for a precious Plutonian gift, transpersonal power, which increases in direct proportion to how much you surrender to your intuitively guided service. Also, on Wednesday, July 22nd, the Sun enters Leo here on July 22nd at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This radiates the energy of the sovereign, the performer in the spotlight, and speculation. Leo's archetypal meanings also include risk-taking, children, play, and rest and relaxation. Also, on Wednesday, July 22nd, it can be easier to bring focus and discipline to your mental processes with Mercury trine Saturn. Mercury, 28 Cancer, Saturn, 28 Scorpio. On Thursday, July 23rd, fleet-footed Mercury scampers through Leo, July 23rd through August 7th. This supports public speaking and singing for an audience. More broadly, it encourages you to put any of your creative accomplishments in the spotlight. Also on Thursday, July 23rd, mental activity of all kinds, learning, thinking, and expressing yourself to the world, is enthusiastically supported under a Sun-Mercury conjunction, both planets around 1 degree Leo. On Friday, July 24th, there's a grand trine with Mars, Saturn, and Chiron. And the basic meaning of the prior grand trine that was almost this way. The Sun, Saturn, and Chiron, which was July 13 through July 22, is reinvigorated because Mars is taking the Sun's place in that aspect pattern today, July 24th. This Mars-Saturn-Chiron grand trine will peak on July 31st and end on August 6th. As before, this flowing aspect pattern creates a solid foundation for healing, mentoring, and transformation. Because grand trines act best when acted upon, take initiative in these areas to receive the most benefit from this laid-back configuration. Of course, Mars likes nothing better than to take immediate action, so his presence can make it easier for you to get the ball rolling. Martian energy also opens the door to heal sexual issues and conquer procrastination. On Saturday, July 25th, Venus turns retrograde. Here's our headline event for the second half of July. This happens on July 25th, 5:29 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and she will do this at 0 degrees, 46 minutes Virgo. She'll turn direct again on September 6th, and at that point she'll be at 14 degrees, 23 minutes Leo. At the most obvious level, Venus's 6-week retrograde is a time for reflection on her main archetypal themes. Those would be relationships, creativity, finances, your tastes, and what you love. In general, a retrograde period is a better time to contemplate than to take action. But life doesn't always let us time our actions to the optimal astrological alignments. If obviously something Venusian needs to get done during Venus retrograde, by all means, proceed as necessary. Venus spends the first week of her retrograde, July 25th through July 31st, in Virgo. This is an ideal time to scrutinize the Venusian themes I've been mentioning here. These could include, and I mentioned these before, is there a strong and appropriate service element in your relationships? Is excessive perfectionism stifling your creativity? And are you paying enough attention to your finances? The way around the perfectionism problem, if you're doing something creative, just get the messy rough draft done. Let the inspiration play out before you start editing. I started 2 novels earlier in my life, and neither of them got done because I started revising before I got to the end. Bad strategy. Get to the end, make it messy, but then you can perfect it later. While Venus backpedals in Leo, July 31st through September 6th, consider how you're getting your creativity out into the world. Also look at whether your relationships are really based on equality or if one of you is inappropriately dominant. Also, on Saturday, July 25th, a Mars-Uranus square has plenty of intensity and volatility on its own, but it's best understood in the context of the Mars-Uranus-Pluto T-square that it helps form, and that runs through from July 14th through July 27th. And we've got more on Saturday, July 25th. Notice how your committed partnerships are doing as Neptune opposes Juno. Neptune 9 Pisces, Juno 9 Virgo. If your partnerships are mainly exhibiting ease and smoothness, they're getting a thumbs up from the universe. But if a relationship feels like it's dissolving, then these planets are giving you notice that your attention is required. Can the problematic aspects of the relationship be healed so that it returns to harmony? Or should you either spend less time on this connection or release it entirely? On Sunday, July 26, Uranus turns retrograde at 20 degrees 30 minutes Aries. It turns direct again on Christmas Day. During this 5-month reversal, it can be helpful to consider how well you're embodying the high side of Uranus. Are you showing up in the world as the authentic human being you came here to be? Are you following your intuitive flashes? And are you serving the collective with your special gifts? Planets are at their most powerful when changing directions, especially outer planets like Uranus. Anything in your natal chart between 17 degrees and 24 degrees in the cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, will be powerfully influenced by Uranus during the coming weeks. Keep the life-affirming Uranus themes I mentioned in mind if you experience a significant amount of anxiety, nervousness, irritability, or chaos. Keeping a planet busy on its high side leaves it less energy to disturb you with its more challenging possibilities. Also on Sunday, July 26, another Thor's hammer, this one completely different. Higher service and sacred sexuality are supported by this Thor's hammer featuring Vesta, Jupiter, and Saturn. It began on July 14th, peaks today on July 26th, and ends on August 17th. I mean, it wasn't part of the Thor's hammer key I was talking about earlier. Vesta fundamentally represents service to a selfless cause, and is the focal point of this Thor's hammer. Vesta can also carry the energy of sacred sexuality, which is energized by her placement in libidinous Aries. Jupiter and Saturn are the social planets which influence how you interact with the world around you. Jupiter expands while Saturn contracts. A lovely balance of these energies can be maintained as both of them support Vesta in this aspect pattern. Also, on Sunday, July 26, healing and mentoring are smoothly and strongly energized as Mars trines Chiron. Mars 21 Cancer, Chiron 21 Pisces. With Mars in Cancer, you can bring a new level of nurturing and compassion into these activities. On Monday, July 27th, are you experiencing mental confusion? Do you not understand what I mean by that? Then a Mercury-Neptune quincunx, Mercury 9 Leo and Neptune 9 Pisces, may be temporarily disrupting your logic circuits. But this aspect also makes it easier to be guided by the constant flow of intuitive wisdom that operates beyond rationality. Ask for a little help from the infinite intelligence within you if your left brain is not firing on all cylinders. We have no major astrology events on Tuesday, July 28th, but on Wednesday, July 29th, psychological work, research, and investigation can receive a boost from a Mercury-Pluto quincunx. Mercury 14 Leo, Pluto 14 Capricorn. With Mercury in Leo, this aspect can also add power to the creativity you share with the world. Nothing to report on Thursday, July 30th, but on Friday, July 31st, we have an Aquarius full moon. Happy blue moon. Anytime we have two full moons in a month, the second one is blue. Not literally, but it's called that. July's second full moon illuminates the sky at 6:43 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and at that point the moon is at 7 degrees 55 minutes Aquarius. Aquarius has three major high side expressions: letting your freak flag fly, authentic egoic expression in the world, following your intuitive flashes or gut feelings, and experiencing the transcendent joy of serving others with your greatest talents. If you're not fully on track in any of these areas, this is a great time to make appropriate adjustments. This full moon's strongest aspect is a very tight conjunction to the part of fortune. The more you embrace the Aquarian prescriptions I've just mentioned, the luckier you'll get. A loose conjunction to Ceres opens the door to potential prosperity. It also raises the issue of self-esteem. Are you confident enough in your human identity to show the world the real you? A trine to the North Node suggests greater ease in connecting with your life purpose. Always easier when you let the real you shine forth and follow your intuitive flashes. And a tight semi-sextile to Neptune shows that applying some effort can give you a deeper connection to your divine flow and awakened consciousness. This full moon Sabian symbol is beautiful gowned wax figures on display. While such figures may showcase popular ideas of beauty, the fact that the beautiful gowns are on wax dummies carries an important message. There's no life here. For an authentic person, to conform to society's idea of beauty would be to kill off the authentic, one-of-a-kind beauty that they embody. Aquarius equates beauty with authenticity. We are fortunate to live in a time when that which used to be condemned, such as homosexuality and transgenderism, is now being popularly accepted. Embracing your uniqueness, however subtle or obvious it may be, can help you to enjoy greater happiness and vitality. Don't be another dead wax figure modeling an image that others adulate. Let the real you shine. Also, on Friday, July 31st, Venus retrogrades into Leo, where she will remain through September 6th. To steal once again from my July 25th Venus retrograde forecast, during this time, consider how you're getting your creativity out into the world. Also look at whether your relationships are really based on equality or if one of you is inappropriately dominant. And also here on Friday, July 31st, a grand trine with Mars, Saturn, and Chiron. Now the basic meaning of the Sun-Saturn-Chiron grand trine that lasted July 13 through 22 was reinvigorated as Mars took the Sun's place in this aspect pattern back on July 24th. So this Mars-Saturn-Chiron grand trine peaks today on July 31st and ends on August 6th. I have already spoken about this on the forecast, but I'll give you a brief reminder. As before, this flowing aspect pattern creates a solid foundation for healing, mentoring, and transformation. Because grand trines act best when acted upon, take initiative in these areas to receive the most benefit from this laid-back configuration. Of course, as I said, Mars likes nothing better than to take immediate action, so his presence can make it easier for you to get the ball rolling. Martian energy also opens the door to heal sexual issues and conquer procrastination. We'll have a preview of our next astrology forecast for the first half of August in a moment. But first, I want to mention a few things. Information on everything that follows is in the What's New section of the homepage of astroshaman.com. First, I want to mention I just put out my audio podcast as I'm recording this today, and I astrologized Pope Francis, yes, the head of the Catholic Church. And I spend over an hour on his astrology. We go into his natal chart, his harmonic charts, his transits, and we go pretty in-depth on this amazing gentleman. So if you'd like to learn more about how Pope Francis's astrology supports the revolutionary changes he's bringing to the Catholic Church, then check out the podcast. You can find that again linked from astroshaman.com. Last time on this video, I mentioned my harmonic astrology special, and I've gotten a testimonial I want to share with you. This woman wrote, "What I most enjoyed about Benjamin's harmonic astrology consultation was the additional depth it went into. I could tie it back to the natal chart to give me a much bigger picture. The fourth harmonic chart, the one that relates to challenges, was the most helpful for me. I feel that now I won't get overstressed about difficulties, but will understand what's going on and have solutions available." Benjamin offered a lot of great ideas about how to work with the challenges in my life. He explained that the fifth and seventh harmonic charts were about creativity and inspiration. Even though I know I'm creative, this reminded me that I need to lead with that. What I learned from these charts has really motivated me to express my creativity more. Learning about my ninth harmonic chart helped me see that, yes, I can be happy, I can move on, I can accept what's going on and what has happened. This information gave me a lot more peace of mind. Benjamin's harmonic astrology consultation went deeper than any astrology reading I've ever done before, and it gave me a wealth of helpful information. The insights I gained were absolutely worth the cost of the session, and that is from Lorianne, who worked with me just 2 or 3 days ago. As you heard, my harmonic astrology consultation dives into the 4th, 5th, 7th, and 9th harmonic charts, as well as the natal chart they're derived from. And each harmonic chart illuminates specific aspects of your talents, identity, and life experience. And they do so with far greater focus, specificity, and clarity than is available from the basic natal chart. I'm running a special right now. If you do your session this month in July 2015, you can save $145 off the usual fee for the service. So again, check out astroshaman.com to learn more. I'm now doing Shamanic Awakening meetups twice a month. The next one is Tuesday, July 21st, 7:15 to 9 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. If you can't join me in Asheville, North Carolina, you're welcome to call in on the conference line. And of course, I do these YouTube videos twice a month, a little before the 1st and 16th of each month. So I promised you I'd give you the heads up on what we're covering on the next video forecast. For this first half of August, there's going to be a Thor's hammer with Vesta, Jupiter, and Pluto peaking. We're going to have a new moon in Leo. Jupiter is going to enter Virgo and square Saturn. Pluto is going to aspect 3 of the 4 asteroid goddesses. Venus and Jupiter will conjoin. That's always considered very fortunate. Venus will also square Saturn, which is not always so fortunate, but we'll find good ways to work with it. Saturn himself will go direct. The Sun is going to aspect all of the slower planets and conjoin Venus. There are going to be 8 Mercury events and a lot more too. So please stay tuned for that on our next video forecast. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my Benjamin Bernstein YouTube channel to be notified when I post new videos. And if you like this video, please share it. This free video forecast is a partner project with iTunes #1 astrology audio podcast, This Week in Astrology. That's also free. You can get my semi-monthly astrology forecast in writing by subscribing to my free email newsletter at astroshaman.com. Once you're there, you can also link to my Facebook page where I post daily forecasts. My personal services include astrology, shamanic healing, and awakening activation. All are equally effective in person or long distance. And by the way, I also do shamanic breath work now, which has to be done locally in the Asheville area. My guarantee makes my services risk-free. If you don't feel that your experience was helpful, there is no charge. I also offer other great products and services, many of which are free. To learn more, visit astroshaman.com. Thanks again for watching. I wish you infinite blessings as the stars light your way.